What driver wouldn't want to know 3 life-changing pieces of advice with instruction on how to use them to thrive when you're out doing food delivery for UberEats or for other gig economy apps? Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, Instacart, Shipt, Spark. There's so many. You have time right now to take action. The first tip is costly if you don't follow it. So please, don't ruin this for yourself. Please. I have good news. The second tip, it's really going to multiply your earnings. The third tip is really going to devastate you when you find out who your true boss is. And it's not you, even though, yes, you're an independent contractor. So the next 18 minutes is really going to define whether you're a winner or a loser. So let me ask you, what's your biggest expense? It's your entire vehicle. Before doing gig work, I never truly realized just how much it cost me to drive my car. I would drive whenever, wherever I wanted, and I didn't really consider cost. Yeah, of course, I knew about adding fuel and doing oil changes, but overall, I really didn't realize how much per mile it was costing me. Although the government rarely does anything well or efficiently, the IRS does know what they're doing, and in general, it does cost 67 cents per mile to operate your car. I'm not going to go into the details because seriously, I know most people don't care. Suffice it to say that you have control over how much it costs you to operate your vehicle. If you drive a Dodge Charger, then it costs you more than a Toyota Prius. And you can imagine why. Because you are planning ahead to do food delivery, you've got the opportunity right now to research vehicles that are going to help you do your job. I think you should buy a vehicle that's going to help you do your work. Are you also going to do rideshare? Are you going to handle large grocery or catering orders? Or are you just going to stick with restaurant food deliveries? Knowing what you want to do is going to help you decide what type of vehicle to get into. Now, don't get caught up on gas mileage alone, although I do. Consider maintenance costs, insurance costs, things like that. If you have the wrong size vehicle, then you're definitely not going to make the money you need. A consideration, a newer vehicle costs more up front, but then you spend less on repairs at first. An older vehicle is cheaper, but you're going to spend more on repairs. Let me tell you about that. Consider getting a 5-year-old vehicle so it's basically new enough to be reliable and old enough that you don't have to pay new car prices. Please stick with reliable manufacturers such as Toyota, Honda. Stay away from American cars unless you really need them for your business. For example, an Escalade, that's great for doing upscale rideshare, or private rides. An Escalade would be an exceedingly poor choice for doing DoorDash. But what if you can find an older Prius or Corolla and spend very little in gas and maintenance? That sounds like a win. If you're going to do catering or transport many passengers, then a Toyota or Honda SUV or minivan even might be the way to go. Most people start doing food delivery on short notice because they need the money right now. More often than not, it's best just drive the vehicle you already have, because you're going to lose money whenever you sell a vehicle, and then when you buy one, you have to pay taxes and fees, and all that adds up. If you can afford it, keep your current car for your daily life and current job, and then go out and buy an older Corolla or something like that and use it for gig work. That way you're never going to be stranded in life when you put a ton of miles on your gig economy work car. Do this right now to be ready to do food delivery. What am I talking about? Multi-apping. Multi-apping means you need to be on many apps. So right after this video, start signing up for them. The main reason, there's a waiting list on many of them. So start now. That way you're going to be ready to go. So what is multi-apping? It's pretty basic. It's having all the apps on. Then as an order comes in, if you like it based on dollars per mile or dollars per hour or both, you select it. What you do is you go back through all the other apps and you turn them off. That way you're not receiving orders that you can't do. And then that'll confuse you and get in the way of doing that one job that you selected. This is how you do it properly. By turning off all the apps, that keeps you from being tempted to do it improperly, which I'll cover here in a second. Some challenges doing multi-apping is, how do I use all these different apps? This is why I'm telling you to sign up right now and be ready. To get used to them, you do one app at a time, and whatever time period is good for you until you get comfortable. You want to be really good at one app, and then you start another one. For example, DoorDash is a little bit different from Uber Eats. They're basically the same, but the screens are different, and under pressure, you need to know how to use each one perfectly when you multi-app. Work on one exclusively. Don't take any other orders on other apps. Just focus on that one app until you get good at it. Then you're able to go ahead and add another app. Then I would say don't use the first app for a while. Just focus on the second one until you get really good at that. Then turn on both of those apps at the same time and get used to doing two apps at the same time. And it'll be easy at first because there's only one other app to turn off and one to select. You can see how this gets more complex. As you get on with 3 or 4 or more apps, then you develop your expertise to be able to be comfortable selecting the right order and then immediately going back and turning off the ones that you obviously don't need right now. The reason that multi-apping is your secret to success is you can't control the market. There could be a variety of orders on other apps that you're not aware of. In your market, one app could be slow, say DoorDash is slow, but Uber Eats is really busy. By having both on, you're going to be able to make money from one of those. If you were only on one app, then you're at the mercy of the market where you're at. Also, another thing to consider is the types of orders. Food delivery is different from grocery shopping. So at certain day parts, one may be busy and the other isn't. Or have them all on, and that way you're covered for grocery shopping or food delivery. And you can see how this expands your options to make money. Because if we were in a perfect world, there'd be so many orders coming in on one app, we'd never have to change. But that's just not the case. How do you do multi-apping improperly? And if you do this, you're going to get deactivated eventually. What you do is we are exceedingly selfish, and I just want as much money for me as possible. I don't care about the restaurants, the gig app companies, especially the customers. Who cares? I want my money. So what you do, and this is wrong, is have all the apps on. And if an order comes in on one and it looks good, you take it. On your way to fulfilling that order, let's say you get another one on, say, DoorDash, and you're on Uber Eats. And you can see that that order ideally is near the same pickup and drop-off location. I accept that one too. Can you see how this can make you a ton of money? Yes, but someone's going to suffer, and eventually you're going to get caught doing this because customers can see you in the app, the gig app companies can see you, and they're going to know, hey, you're supposed to go to A to B, not go over here to C and then back to B. They're going to realize, because think about it, there's GPS on your phone, they know your phone number, they've got all the tracking information they need. The company will catch you doing this. And from the customer's perspective, how rude. You have to keep in mind the customer can see you on many of these apps as you go from the restaurant to their house. They're going to wonder, what are you doing going way over here instead of to their place? So they're going to report you, you'll get complaints, and eventually you'll get deactivated. And the customer's not going to get their food hot and fresh or nice and cold as they desire because you're wasting time taking another order somewhere else, and then their food isn't as pristine. And keep in mind, the customers are paying a lot for these orders, so eventually you will suffer for it. About the only time that you could improperly multi-app, and I've done it, is when I know I'm really close from the restaurant to the house, and then another order just happened to come in from the same restaurant or next door to a similar area. If you know you're fast and it's really a short distance, then you can get away with it. But don't start learning things like that right up front when you're trying to do food delivery, because it is going to bite you. So I can imagine what you're thinking, Russ, who cares? What if I don't take your advice? Well, let me tell you what's likely to happen, and I already mentioned getting deactivated. Here's the thing, if you don't take my advice, what you're probably going to do is just get on one app. Let's say it's DoorDash, and you're going to work really hard, and that's good. You're going to do a lot of orders. They're going to keep feeding you orders, and that's great. You're going to get really locked into that app, and they're probably going to prize your hard-working service for a while. But invariably, something's going to happen. Most likely it's like a glitch in the app. Something went wrong in computer land, or the customer maybe wants something for free, eventually you're going to get flagged by that app for doing something wrong, even if you really didn't do anything wrong. Next, what's going to happen, you're either going to get suspended or outright deactivated. And this is a very long and torturous process. I don't wish it on any of you at all. It's happened to me twice, and I never did get back on DoorDash, even though I was cleared and did nothing wrong. But they don't care. So keep this in mind. All the gig apps do not care about you as a driver. You may work for them for years and have thousands of deliveries. They don't care about your hard work. They will get rid of you in a split second if anything goes wrong, if there's a customer complaint or who knows what else. Something could just go wrong. Maybe they don't want to pay your health benefits. You're the one that loses out. What's the allure of gig work? It's being on your own, not having a boss. But is that really true? Do you have a boss? Actually, you do. And that leads into this third secret. Customer service. The customer is absolutely your boss, whether you realize it or not. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 3 levels of customer service. I'm also going to share why this matters. There's a couple reasons, both in the app and for you personally, to make tips. So although no one likes to really have a boss unless they're really awesome, the customer can be a really good boss for you or a really bad one. The first level of customer service is the absolute bare minimum, and that's called building trust with the customer. You are bringing something that they're going to consume, either themselves or for their family. And so this makes sense. You want to make sure that they're not afraid that you're doing anything wrong whatsoever to their food because they're going to consume it. And again, this is the bare minimum, building trust. If you just build trust, then congratulations, you're not going to get fired, but that doesn't mean you're going to be successful. The next level of customer service is a medium level, and this is just going to help you get some tips. Smile and be friendly and talk to the customer. Ask them how their day's going. If you're dropping off near their business or home, just create some small talk, because what this does is help that customer, your boss, see you as a valuable worker and a fellow human being. And that'll soften their heart if they know that you're cheerful and pleased to help them. Maybe they'll give you a tip, or maybe they'll increase your tip. It definitely can't hurt. The opposite extreme would be as if you are boring or angry looking, or you're dressed nasty, or you're not very clean. They're going to want to get rid of you as quickly as possible. And then you're getting into the breaching the trust again with the customer. And this is something easily within your control. Just practice. Smile. Everybody looks more happy and cheerful when you're smiling. And frequently, customers ask how you're doing. And you could take this time to share a little background on yourself, or give some insights into what makes you so happy to be a food delivery driver. And again, you're not doing this just to get tips. You're just trying to bridge that gap between you as the food delivery driver and them as the customer, also known as your boss. The final and ultimate level of customer service is treating the customer just like yourself. If you see they're having trouble with something, ask if you can help. If the order's heavy, could I place it somewhere? Many times if people are disabled, they're already going to give you a really good tip. And especially if you're eager to bring it in their house or set something somewhere that they ask, just do it because you're helping them. And that's probably the whole reason they're ordering food delivery like that, is because they need your help. So don't be like, I would say, a few drivers that just drop it off at the door and disappear. You're losing out on a chance of building that connection with the customer. And then, of course, anytime that you're interacting with the customer, use your verbal skills. Practice quite a bit with this and talk about what's going on with their day. And you may be surprised. They may share some insights into their life, and you can at least listen. Do you know that it feels so much better if someone just listens to you and you can talk through your issues with them? Well, the same thing for the customer. So be available to listen to them and also physically help them. And especially for grocery shopping and food delivery, practice your writing skills. You can already have a bunch of messages saved up depending on the situation that'll save you time. And I do want to mention the iPhone is the easiest way to do this. You can go into keyboard shortcuts and have a little code and it would automatically put a message there. So I'll share a couple messages in the video description that I use. When you're performing at the highest levels of customer service, your job doesn't seem horrible because you're actually going out with the mindset knowing that you're helping customers. So again, the bottom level is just building trust. That's the minimum not to get deactivated. Next level is smile, be happy, ask how their day's going. And then the ultimate is physically help people and also be overjoyed to help them and talk to them. And who knows, maybe something tremendous will come from this. It's called networking. And that is definitely the highest level of communication and service to the boss, your customer. Having any level of customer service skills is very important. You always want to ask the customer to rate you in the app. And the reason is because it only takes one person to complain. And if you don't already have a ton of good reviews, then the gig app company doesn't know if you actually are a good worker or not. So help yourself. You're already doing all the work of having good customer service skills. So just ask the customer to rate you. And many of them do. So don't be surprised. Eventually you will get a bad rating. And that could be for your own fault. Or more often it's because the restaurant didn't do something. They can't blame the restaurant. And so they take out their frustration on you. So again, if you have a high bank of good reviews, that's going to offset the few bad reviews that you do get. Another great benefit of customer service skills, you're generally going to have repeat customers and you're going to recognize them by their name or their address. And if you're always friendly and helpful, that helps shorten the time that they remember, oh yes, that's Russ, I remember him and I tipped him really well last time. I'm going to tip him well again. So don't discount this. You will come across repeat customers. Why not just go ahead and set yourself up for success for that next interaction? I am so excited to be able to share these customer service tips. Get out there and help that customer. But whoa, wait, how do you actually deliver food? Well, guess what? In this next video, I go through step by step of how to do food delivery and how to keep you safe and profitable. So I look forward to seeing you there and in the comments below.